Greetings, my friends. Jimmer Lins here with your Source Filmmaker tip of the day. Now, first off, I realize that it's been more than a day since my last tip of the day, but the way I look at it, today is a day and this is a tip, so the name will continue to suffice at least until I come up with something better. Perhaps tip of the week, tip of the month, I don't know. But I am pleased to be able to bring this to you again. For those asking, I am well, and I appreciate all the concern that people have shown in the comments. Things have just been very, very busy and somewhat stressful for me in my real life, and a lot of my hobbies and activities other than work have gone by the wayside, including making these videos. But I'm back. And my stress levels are reduced and my available time is up a little bit, so hopefully I will be able to continue to bring you these tips on a more or less regular basis for the foreseeable future. So thank you for sticking around, and I hope that you've been getting good use out of the ones that I've already made. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and kick this off. I've got a couple of requests, actually I've gotten a number of requests in comments and emails, direct messages and that sort of thing, for information on how to create the Killstreak effects that were added with the man versus machine and some of the drops. Some of the weapons, if you get enough kills, then it will add an effect where the character's eyes will glow. And so what people have been wanting to know is, how do I add those Killstreak effects? And there's a number of tutorials on how to do it. And I thought I would just kind of like grab all that information and put it together in one quick tip of the day for you and show you a few tricks on how to make that work. So what I've done before starting this was I set up this Source Filmmaker session with a demo man holding an eyelander. And I chose the demo man because he's only got one eye, so I only need to actually do one particle system. For the other characters, you'll need to do this twice. But the first thing you'll want to do, as you guessed, as I said already, we're going to create a particle system. So we'll go into the animation set editor and we'll right-click and say Create Animation Set for New Particle System. And that'll give you this dialog here, and you're going to want to click Browse. And what we're looking for is the Particles folder. Now that will most likely be in Steam Apps, Common, Source Filmmaker, Game, TF Particles. And that's where you're going to want to look. Some people have found these files in Source Filmmaker Games /usermod/particles. Wherever you keep them or wherever they're located, what you're looking for is the one here called class_fx.pcf. Now you'd think it was killstreak.pcf, and I encourage you to use what you learn in this video and go play around with what you find in that file. But for now, what we're looking for is class_fx.pcf. Excuse me again, got a little bit of a cold. So we'll go ahead and select that, select open, and the start time is 0. My clip and shot are 60 seconds long, so I'm going to set those durations just so that I don't have to deal with short durations. Now obviously I don't want scout dodge. What I want is the kill streak ones, and they start, as you might guess, with K. And you'll see there's a whole bunch of them here. They do not map to the they don't map to the names of the kill streak effects in the game. I don't know why, but there you go. That's valid for you. And you'll also notice that we've got Killstreak T0, Killstreak T1, Killstreak T2, and so forth. And what we're looking for here, I said kill. Oh, come on now. No, I don't want that. There you go. What happens when I click the wrong key? There we go. You'll notice that these lists here have like Killstreak T2 level 1, Killstreak T2 level 1 glow, and so forth. You're going to want to ignore for now the ones that have the extra stuff on the end, the glow, the smoke. You'll see some labeled with sparks here and there, sparks 2 and detail and stuff. These are the child effects because most of these are not one particle system. It's a root particle system with several children that provide, like, you've got the main glow with the shiny things sticking out of the eye and then sparks or smoke or what have you. And I'll show you how you can manipulate those in a little while once we get the base particle system, but for now what you're looking for is the ones that don't have any extra names on the end. So I'm just going to choose T7. This is the hologramic rings one. I'm going to do that and click OK. Now nothing happens because particle effects don't show up in the window until you've done a couple things. Now the first thing we're going to want to do is instance this particle system. So I'm going to right click it and select instance it. This is something you should probably be doing for all of your particle systems, and it's something I haven't done in the past or haven't shown you in these tips of the day before, mostly because I wasn't aware of it. But basically what you're doing is you're creating a copy in the source Filmmaker file, in your project file, of the particle system, but then you can modify its properties so you can make it different from the basic particle system that's embedded in the PCF file. So for almost all of your particle systems, you'll want to instance them. If you're just using a stock out-of-the-box particle system and you're not going to modify any of its properties, you may not need to instance it. But in general, a good rule of thumb is instance your particle systems. Now, the first thing that we can do here, I'm going to switch over to the work camera, is if I hit play, again, nothing happens. And I'm going to solve this issue, I'm going to right-click this. I'm going to say Show an Element Viewer. I'm going to say Particle System, and it opens it in the Element Viewer. And over here, you'll see on the left in the Tree tab, there's Particle System Definition. And over in the Data tab, there's a button here with an ellipsis. And when we click that, it will open up this Particle System Editor. This may look familiar. You may have seen this in the Particle System Viewer that is part of Source Filmmaker. This just allows us to modify the properties of this specific particle system. Now, the first thing that we're going to want to do, and I'm not entirely clear on why this is necessary, but it is, in order for this to work well, is where there's an attribute down here called Remap Control Point to Vector. You're just going to, the first thing you're going to want to do whenever you work with a brand new instance particle system is open up the properties and find that and click Remove. You'll see that it starts animating. We can see it now. I don't know for sure why that's necessary. I'm sure someone will explain to me in the comments. I just know that it is. So if we click Accept now and start playing, we can see that the particle system is there and it's animating happily. So that's great. Now the next thing we want to do is go into the motion editor, which I'm already in, select all time, and we're going to want to position this thing. But if you notice, unlike with weapons and stuff, there's no bones or anything like that to bind the particle system to. Excuse me. There's no place to glue the particle system very conveniently to the character's eye. So I'm going to show you how you can make this work. What we're going to do is we're going to grab BIP head for the demo man, and that's going to be in demo body BIP head. We're going to parent the head object of the demo man to the particle system so that the particle system's motions will follow the demo man's head and therefore will follow his eyes. So we drag this down. Again, remember, you always drag the parent to the child. I think of it in my head like it's the hand reaching to grab the object. You're not putting the object in the hand, you're taking the hand and putting it on the object. In this case, we're dragging the parent, the head, to the particle system. So you drag it to the transform. And then if you select the particle system here, you'll notice down here, by the way, in the motion editor, there's a bunch of animation because the particle system animates. But what we're going to do is grab this. You click on the root of it to make sure all of its elements are selected, and then just grab the default procedural preset here, and then click OK. You'll notice that its animation went away, but that's okay, at least for our purposes, because its animation being glued now to the demo man's head, which is in motion, you can see now it picks up the relative motion of the demo man and we get the right effect. I would encourage you to experiment with different ways of connecting these things, so you might want to keep its animation, but I think that might look a little choppy. Again, it's up to you. Figure out how it works best for you. But now, this is not going to work real well because although we've glued it to his head, now the root of it is essentially right in the middle of the demo man's head and it's sticking out of his ear. So unless you're making some sort of joke animation about the earlander, I made it funny, then this isn't going to work. But now that it's glued to his head, it will continue to follow his animations there, and it allows us to do this. And I'm going to grab his, again, you have to make sure you're in the motion editor. You grab the particle system, and then you move it around until it is essentially on his eye. Now, if you press, you'll notice that it doesn't actually update anything until you press the space bar. Particle systems don't update in the view window. So then I'm going to switch it to rotate. So you're going to find yourself pressing the space bar quite a bit. Okay, we're getting closer. And you're going to be moving the camera around quite a bit to get this where you want it. And it takes a little bit of fiddling about, but you will eventually get it. Let's see. Place it there. Rotate it a bit more, I think. Getting closer. And I'm not going to try and make this perfect, but I do want it to be at least close. Let's see, move it just a little bit that way. Yeah, I think that's looking almost perfect. We'll just go a little bit further, a little bit up. Yeah, not quite. We're almost there, though. Again, you're going to find that, whatever works for you, you're going to want to play around with it a bit until you find an effect that works. Okay, now this is looking pretty good. It's bound to the demo man's head, and the animation is making it move around and so forth. But what if we wanted to change the color of the animations or the particle set? What if we wanted to make it one of the Killstreak color effects, which I assume most of you want to? Well, that's easy enough. If you right-click here and select Show in Element Viewer and select Particle System, or if you didn't actually change the node you were looking at in the Element Viewer, you can just go back to your Element Viewer, go to your Particle System definition again, and hit the ellipsis button. And in the root of this attribute tree here on the left, remember we removed the Remap control point to vector element in this earlier. Just click on System Properties, and then you can pick Color. And then from this color dialog, let's make it bright yellow. How's that? Bright yellow sounds like fun. So we'll make it a bright yellow color. That's pretty good. And then click OK, and then click Accept. And now it's bright yellow. All right, and we can see that from the work camera and from the main scene camera. Okay, so that's bright yellow. But what if we wanted to change the colors of the other elements of this thing? Because we've still got this blue expanding ring. What if we wanted that to look different? Now, remember I told you earlier about those child particle systems? Well, I'm going to show you how you can manipulate those. Now, since we created this particle system instance, we also created instances of its children. Now, thankfully, there's an easy way to get to those children in Source Filmmaker, and you can do that from the animation set. If you right-click the animation set here in the animation set editor, and you go to Edit Particle System Definition, you can go see here all of the particle system definitions are here, including the base one. You could modify that from here as well. So I'm going to go to Killstreak T7 Level 1 Edge. I'm going to click that. Now, if you don't do this step, you'll find that any changes you make don't take effect. Remember how we had to remove Remap control point to vector earlier? We're going to do that again, and now it's gone, and now we see that this is that sort of expanding glowing ring. So now we've got it's yellow and blue at the moment. Why don't we make this, just to make it distinct, let's make this bright red so we can very clearly see what it's doing. And when we click the space bar, okay, now we can see that we've got that bright red effect, but we've still got that blue halo, that blue sort of hazy effect there. And that's going to be, I believe, if we go back and right-click and select Edit Particle System Definition and select Detail, I believe that's the one. And again, the first time you edit a child particle system, you're going to want to find this Remap control point to vector, right-click, remove, and we can see the halo effect right here. So then we can go back to the system properties, and let's pick a color of, say, purple. That's going to be pretty distinct, like a royal purple. That way we can easily see all the different elements of this. So you can see now we've got yellow, we've got the blue, we've got the purple color, and I think that there's probably, let's see what this one's doing. Remove the thing. Yeah, there's the reddish color. We've already got that. Let's see. Let's make this green. Okay. So as you can see, you can manipulate the colors of these different elements of the particle system and change the child particle systems as well. And when you're manipulating these things for your own animations, you're going to probably need to modify exactly where they are so that they fit on the character's eye properly. Like, if in a perfect world, I'd probably spend a little bit more time messing about with this, because as you can see, it's not perfectly aligned. And some of them I found I have a hard time making sure that the particle effects look right, in the sense that they don't clip through the head and so forth. And so you're going to want, again, you're going to want to play with these to make sure that you get them oriented right. You may need to adjust the orientation of the child particle systems as well. But this should be sufficient to get you a good start with making your own particle systems, your own animations, or your own posters, which are kind of fun as well. If I move the work camera around here a little bit, we can get some kind of cool angles on this guy here. So you can definitely have some fun with this, and I encourage you to look through all the different particle systems available in class_FX, because that's where you're going to find the Killstreak effects, and you'll find some others in the Killstreak.pcf, and that will help you get started. Again, to sum up, you create the particle system, you right-click it, say Show In Element Viewer, click Particle System, then you can browse its definition. The first thing you're going to want to do is go under Initializer. Actually, the first thing you're going to want to do is instance it. Then you're going to, after you've opened its properties, go into the Initializer and select Remove or Remap Control Points to Vector and remove that attribute. And then you can make adjustments to the properties. Now, if you find you screwed up or you made a mistake or something like that with this instance particle system and it's just not working, the easy trick is to just go here, right-click, and say Delete Animation Sets and recreate it. It is not that difficult to create a new version of the particle system and just recreate its attributes. I know it can be a little frustrating at times, so remember to save your work often I wish you luck in your exploration of using Killstreak effects and the eye effects for Killstreak weapons. With that, I'm going to wrap up this Tip of the Day. This has been Tip of the Day number 76. I have been your host, Jimmer Linz, and I thank you very much for watching and listening, for subscribing, and for all the great support that you all have given me over the time that I've been doing these Tips of the Day, and I look forward very much to the next one. Keep an eye on this same bat channel. Not the same bat time, but they'll be more often and more frequent, I hope, in the near future. In the meantime, thank you again. Have a wonderful day, and thank you, and enjoy using Source Filmmaker.